What's up, everybody? Alright, so this is my Wednesday training, obviously, as you can tell by the title. Unfortunately, for Monday, my heavy squat day, my camera's battery was dead because I forgot to charge it. So there's nothing from 2 days ago, which I'm pretty bummed about because I had a really good training session. I felt like low bar squatting was finally starting to click, at least for a third of the time, which is an improvement because last week it clicked about 0% of the time. Anyways, so today, Wednesdays are my light days yet again. I do my main sets of squatting are pause squats at about 60% of my max, and I do some. Today is supposed to be my heavy benching day. I did some moderately heavy benching today, but my wrist was feeling not 100%, so I decided to play it safe rather than sorry, so that I have no injuries holding me back from making any progress. So for my warm-up sets, I only pause on the very last rep of each set. So here is 185 for a double. I don't know what was up with this first rep, but I was kind of dizzy, and I couldn't really keep my focus on one point on the wall. But I took a few breaths and then corrected it for my second rep. So I paused and I felt no trouble getting out of the hole there. So the way I progress this week to week is I'm doing pause triples every Wednesday for my main sets, and what I'll do is I will add a set every week. First off, I start at 3 sets of 3 with a weight for these pause squats, and then I will add if I hit all my reps, I will add a set the next week, and then add a set the week after that, so I get to 5 sets of 3 reps. Once I hit 5 sets of 3 reps at a certain weight, then I will up the weight by 10 pounds the next week and go back down to 3 sets of 3. So today was 245 for 4 sets of 3 breath pause squats. Again, that means when I get to the bottom, I let the air out so I don't have any intra-abdominal pressure, and take 3 quick shallow breaths. Some people would argue that you should take deep breaths at the bottom of the squat, but I figure as long as I'm completely expelling the air and then refilling my lungs with air, then I'm doing what the exercise is supposed to do. The purpose of doing the breathing pause squats is to let out the intra-abdominal pressure so that you're relying on your muscular stability to keep you balanced in the bottom of the squat. Which is why you have to use a pretty light weight. Otherwise, you could possibly hurt yourself. I didn't feel too bad about these today. Normally what throws me off about low bar is the position on my back, obviously, because I'm switching from high bar. But it isn't the actual squatting movement. I'm pretty good, at least at this weight, about initiating with the hips, but it's just been hard to find the right spot for the bar at my back. So when you low bar squat, you want the bar to be right above your rear delts, below your traps. There's a natural shelf there if you squeeze your back, but I've just been having trouble finding it recently. Like I said, today is also my bench day. So as I'm trying to figure out my low bar squat position, I'm also trying to redo how I arch for the bench. Because as you'll notice, I get a pretty big arch initially, but then when I move my feet, I kind of lose it. So I'm currently messing around trying to find the best way to get tightness, but also to have my feet in the correct position as well. Because I compete in the powerlifting federation called 100% Raw. One of the rules of this federation is that you cannot have your heels off the ground when you bench, like a lot of people do. So if you have to keep your heels on the ground, then your arch is going to be less pronounced than a heels up bencher, which is fine. I've actually gotten to prefer it this way, even though for about a year I was a person who benched with their heels off the ground. The key to having flat feet while benching is to push yourself across the bench, not necessarily up, but across the bench onto your traps. That way you get tension in your quads, glutes, and back. I say that, but I still haven't really figured that out. I like to blame the equipment we have, because we have freestanding benches that aren't connected to the racks, but in all actuality, if my technique was good enough, then it wouldn't really matter. So I still have to figure out that leg drive and figure out how to put my weight on my traps. This is my first working set at 235 pounds. It's a little less than 90% of my max. I use 275 as my training max. I've done 285 before, but I know for a fact 275 I did it with competition legal form. 285, it was iffy on the pause on my chest, so 275 is what I use for my training max. Now this second set of 3, I started to get really fatigued. As you'll notice when you watch me bench a lot, I don't have a very consistent bar path. I would even go so far as to say as I touch at different points on my chest sometimes. I'm not very good about keeping just one touch point, which is something I definitely need to work on, and when I do figure that out, it will make my bench better. Hopefully, using the slingshot will help groove my arms into a better movement pattern, but we'll see. Anyways, like I was saying before, I was feeling really fatigued on the bench because, so you can notice the gym is pretty empty. It's because I went in at 8 o'clock today, and I woke up at about 7:30. So I went to the gym without having any breakfast. Now I actually had time to have breakfast, but I decided I just wanted to go in and get this session out of the way. Maybe not the smartest choice, but it worked out for me, I think. So for my last set of bench, I slapped on the slingshot, kept it at 235, and I was determined to crank out a set of 8. These were not the prettiest by any means, and I did have to take some pauses in between the last couple reps there. But I got it done, and overall I'm pretty happy with how today went. Oh yeah, I also did some dumbbell curls at the end because I found that strengthening my biceps has really helped my bench.